SolidJS applications are known to be fast, but we want to make sure our images load just as fast. Not to mention being able to serve them optimized and at the right size. So we'll see how we can use the Cloudinary URL Gen SDK to set up, optimize, and transform our SolidJS images. The Cloudinary URL Gen SDK can really be used in any JavaScript-based framework. Because SolidJS is, well, JavaScript, we can use it right inside of our applications. So once you've installed and imported the URL Gen SDK, as well as set up a new Cloudinary instance, complete with your cloud name, we can start to transform our Cloudinary URL into an optimized version. To start, I'm going to create a separate source prop where I'm going to create a new cld.image instance, where inside I'm going to paste in my public ID, which is going to be this examples/guitar player. And I don't even need the file extension here, but I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. And then I'm going to add a to URL chained at the end of this image instance. But now I'm going to get rid of this extra source prop. And once I reload the page, we can see that I now have that same URL as I had before, only this time it's now being generated through the SDK. But our goal here is to optimize this image. So we don't want that 2.3 megabyte image. To start, we want to make sure that we're actually optimizing this image. So we're going to chain on the quality, which we're going to set to auto, which is going to tell Cloudinary that we want to automatically determine how much compression to add, which Cloudinary will do that for us and then return that image. On top of that, we're going to chain on a format of auto, which is going to try to use a more modern format, which is going to be more efficient for delivering this image to the browser. It depends on the image and the results for that image, but that could include file formats such as WebP and AVIF. But now once we reload the page, we can see that that file size dropped all the way down to 1.4 megabytes. We can even see that we're now delivering it as a WebP instead of a JPEG, which is going to be a more efficient format for delivering our images. Now, as much as that did cut down that image size, that's still a lot. But if we notice, we're currently serving that image at 6,720 width by 4,480 height, and we're only actually rendering at 600 by 400. Well, the best practice is to try to figure out the actual size you need for your application. Just as we programmatically chained on the quality and the format, we can also resize our images on the fly. Now to start, I dropped these lines down just to make it a little bit easier to read. But before we get started, we need to first import the dependency to allow us to do this. So I'm going to first duplicate this line. And what I'm going to do is import scale from actions resize inside of the URL gen package, where I'm going to additionally chain on resize. And inside, I'm going to pass in that scale module where I'm going to set my width. And let's use double the value of our 600 so that we can have retina friendly images. So I'll set 1200 and then a height where I'll do the same thing and set that as 800. If we now reload that page inside of that browser, we can see that it dropped down all the way to 46.3 kilobytes. That's an incredibly drastic reduction in size. While we're not going to cover it here, you can take this a step further with responsive sizes, where you could additionally generate smaller sizes depending on the device that it's actually being shown on. But as we can even see inside of the network tab, we're now delivering that image as an AVIF format, which is going to be a more efficient way to deliver it. To learn more about the different options that you have with the URL Gen SDK, including dynamically cropping those images, or applying effects, filters, and even overlaying images and text on top of those images, check out the Cloudinary Docs where you can quickly get started. So in review, in order to easily optimize your Cloudinary images inside of a SolidJS app, we can create a new image instance with our URL Gen SDK, where we set the quality and format to auto, and resize to only the size that we need, where we can make sure that we're delivering our images as fast as SolidJS itself.